Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to do a video review for the Denon AVR-S960H 7.2 sound system receiver. In this video, I'm just going to go over some of the features of this. I'll talk a little bit about my setup, how I ended up wiring this, what we have here for components, and we'll just go through the unit itself. So this is actually something that I wanted to get specifically for utilizing a basement system that we ended up setting up. We actually ended up doing a remodel. So I'll first start with the unit itself, and then we'll go through the main setup. So you have your main power button here. Of course, all of this you can control with a remote. So I'll go ahead and turn it on just as an example. You have a nice display here that shows you exactly what's going on in terms of your connections. Here you can see it connected right through TV audio. Typically, if you wire this through HDMI, such as the, utilizing the main eARC ports, you can actually get this to just synchronize. So when you turn your TV on, the receiver will turn on as well, which is very convenient. You have your settings here on the left, so you can switch between all the different inputs. You can do a bunch of them here. As you can see, there's like gaming. You could do aux, 8K, media player, CD, tuner, music, TV audio, phono, and then it goes back to cable, satellite, DVD, and then Blu-ray. So you have plenty of inputs here. I even have an old school CRT that I've got hooked up to another receiver, and I was able to use the cable satellite output, a Blu-ray player. I've got like one or two gaming systems. So all of that you can hook up with this. You have your volume control here in the left, which it gives you in short 0.5 increments. Essentially on the back, what I ended up doing with this, and I'll kind of shift it over if we can hopefully get somewhat of a view. A lot of the cables are pretty tight. But what I did is a very neat setup where I utilized banana plugs. So you can do this in one of two ways, but I suggest the banana plugs because if you do all the wiring manually, especially with this large of a receiver, it's just going to be a little bit of a mess, and then you have more prone issues to lose the wires. So I do highly recommend getting the banana plugs. We also have a single subwoofer plugged in up here at the front, and then right now I have the multiple HDMIs there. On the back of this receiver, again, you've got many different options, but everything is very clearly labeled. You've got your optical outs, all of your component HDMIs there at the top. You have an Ethernet port, and then of course all of the wiring for all the speakers. Now let me go over my setup here. I'll kind of just bring this back. Now what I ended up doing is, and again, this is going to be more for like a finished project, is I'll pull this out a little bit. I ended up actually getting this wire jack that I was able to install all the wiring in prior to finishing our walls. So this jack essentially allowed me to attach all of the speakers, and it's a little bit redundant, but I didn't want a lot of wires running through, so I knew that this is where one of the tower speakers would go, and then I knew I was going to have another one over here. So essentially what I did is I only have these very short wires running from here to the speakers. And in theory, instead of running the wire from the back of the receiver and then running it across the floor, I was able to do it that way. For the subwoofer, I just left it as is because I had a really long wire, but this is actually for this one of the subwoofers, and then I have another one on the other side if I decide to add a second one in the future. So essentially what this is you've got your Dolby Atmos speakers up in the top. Fortunately, my cat has decided to make this a nice little place to chill and hang out. But if I pull up this, you can see we've got the Dolby upfires. So that's essentially one input. And then you have the main front speaker. There's a second one of those. We have our center speaker. And I kind of retrofitted this just because, basically I had an extra set of these, but you can see I just mounted these, up in the ceiling. There's basically a jack there. So these are normally like bookshelf speakers, but I was able to ceiling mount them. I may replace these in the future with like circular speakers almost similar to the lights that I have here. So it'll be a little cleaner, but for now this is actually working as surround. So, in theory, it's a pretty basic system. You've got your fronts, Dolby's, you get the center speaker, and then of course the rears. And in here, it's not a particularly large space. It's about 500 square feet. This sounds absolutely insane. And then of course we have this very large, I think this is a 12-inch subwoofer. So, I'm very happy with this Dolby receiver. If you're looking for something that, is going to handle power and obviously at the same time be able to, get you set up with like a nicer configuration while also connecting all your devices, this definitely is going to be a good bet. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.